Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Shubham, tell me what we did in session 1.
Ma'am, just a second. Ma'am, we basically learned about the answer writing, and that was our intro session. And we basically learned about how to structure answers. And we also learned that one of the most crucial points which I noted is knowing is not same as scoring, and various points also discussed. And we got to know about the word limits and time allotment for each answer. And command word also we discussed about command word as well.
Okay. Now, who will tell me about session 2? Sakshita, you tell me about session 2.
Ma'am, session 2 was about how to we in first session, as we learned the command words, we learned what command word what to use, what to answer. So we learned about the command words.
So, what was the difference in session 1 and 2? In session 1, though, sir discussed all the command
But
words, right?
we understood how to identify command words, and if we in session 2 we learned what all command words are there and their meaning.
Okay. Then in session 3, anyone else who want to take a attempt to tell me what was discussed in session 3? Yes, Premika.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in session 3, we have learned about the 9 layers answer architectures only.
So, what are those 9 layers?
Question reading, demand identification, content recall, content selection, structural design, writing presentation, self-verification, learning capture.
Okay. And what about session 4?
We have studied 3
No, no.
stages of every answer, like before the pen, and after the pen.
Okay. Now, who will tell me about session 4? What we did in session 4? Shubham, you have answered. Somebody else who haven't answered till now. Just volunteer, otherwise, I'll call out the names. Yes, Aurapriya, tell me.
Hello.
Yes.
Ma'am, in session 4, we actually studied about the how to write the answer, like to take how many time, how much time limit we should take for writing the answers, and everything in detail before and after that. Within how many minutes we should write, and so I have given the question also to write within 9 minutes and to see what how much data you can write in within 9 minutes and how to structure it and everything. He has given the thing and said us to mark us on the basis of that to be more to so that we can be like enemy to ourselves, and we should give very rude marks or something for that. In future you can write it very well, so like that he has discussed about that.
Okay. And in which session you people did about the 5 steps that we have to take before starting out anything, like before writing anything without touching pen to the paper?
So
What are those
ma'am,
five
this
steps?
session, session 4, I think session 4 was the one which he said to write think before and then write it out, and so session 4 was the one.
So can you tell me what were those 5 steps?
5 steps, ma'am. First, so I think my 5 step was like the 9 steps. In that 9 steps, 5 steps were there to read the question, to think about it, and then write it in a structured way. That is the one I think of. 5 steps, I think. He has discussed within session 3 and 4, both of it.
Okay. Dhananjay, do you want to add something? You were nodding your head.
Yes, ma'am. Basically, it was continuation of session 3 and 4, the 9 layer structure. Na? So
Mm-hmm.
from those 9 layers only, so there were like the 5 steps.
Okay, so tell me 5 steps. One is first you will all read the question, right? Then second step.
One is a question reading, then it is a demand identification, then content recall, then the content selection, then the structural design was there. Then there was writing after structural design and presentation, self verification. Last one, I don't know.
Okay. So as you people have recalled all the 4 sessions, now before starting out your answers, what we have to do, we have to follow those 5 steps, right? First is reading the question, and second step is identifying the demand of the question. So today we are going to focus on that thing, how to read the question, and on upon reading the question, how to simultaneously understand the demand of the question. Okay, so that will be the session about. uh, Tell me, till now you people have prepared how many topics and you have written answers to how many questions?
4, ma'am.
4,
Okay.
ma'am.
What all questions have been written?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Akshita.
Ma'am, the first was on environmental laws,
Hmm.
and then it was on river pollution, then on urban flooding, and in last session, sir had given us about, um, I guess, I don't remember it exactly, but
Rapid urbanization, ma'am.
yes, yes, ma'am,
Rapid
rapid
eye.
urbanization. Yes.
And in last session, sir must have given you some topics also, that he have described some format of note making, right? And has
Yes,
he
Yes.
ma'am.
given certain topics to prepare notes upon?
Ma'am, actually, sir had given us a topic of river pollution only to prepare notes on, and he
Hmm.
had given us 3 topics to read about.
Okay, so what were those 3 topics?
Ma'am, first was cooperative federalism, and then other two were um, urban local governance and Indian monsoon.
Okay, I hope everybody have come prepared reading cooperative federalism. All of you understand what do we mean by cooperative federalism?
Yes.
Is there anyone who have no idea like what is cooperative federalism? Okay, because that will be the question that we are going to discuss. With the example of that question only, we'll discuss how to identify the demand of the question today. Okay, so let's start. So the first thing is, see, what we need to understand is that majority of your marks, they are not lost due to the lack of knowledge, but they are lost due to the errors in the initial comprehension. What generally happens is that, since we will be running short of time, initial 5 6 questions you people will be studying with some ease. Okay, you will be having time, you will interpret them correctly. But as the time will pass, as half time will get over in the last 1 hour, the major mistakes you people will start doing is that you will just read the question, or just you will try to identify the main topic that have been asked, and according to that you will start writing the answers. Okay, you will not, you will like forget about what exactly has been asked about that topic. Okay, so we have to keep one thing in mind, that always whenever we are reading the question, do not just look at the main topic, always read the question in entirety. Okay, this is where we will lose majority of our marks. It will not be because of the lack of knowledge, but in the initial comprehension of the question. Not identifying the demand of the question is what makes us lose our marks most of the times. Okay. So how we can overcome that thing? So we basically have to slow down our reading process. Okay. And we have to filter while reading the keywords. We have to filter the directive word that has been asked, and we have to filter the scope of the question while reading the question itself. Only then we'll be able to maintain the accuracy. Okay. So how we will proceed about it? So these are the steps that we have to follow. We have to read every question at least 3 times before you pick up your pen and start writing the answers. Okay. Now it doesn't mean that if you're reading it 3 times you will take 5 minutes just to read the question 3 times. No, you have to do this exercise within 30 seconds, or like within 20 seconds read it 3 times. And the very first time when you read the question, it should be the slowest reading. Okay. Now let's understand with the help of an example. So let me write the question. Just give me a second. So the question is that we have to discuss: examine the challenges to cooperative federalism in India post 2014. Okay, so this is the question that we have to discuss. Now at least read this question 3 times. I am giving you 30 seconds to read it. Okay. So now you have to tell me 3 things related to this question. Okay. So the first thing is, tell me what is the directive word in this question.
Examine.
Okay. So the
Examine.
directive word is examine.
Examine.
Okay. Now second thing that we have to identify is the main topic. Now tell me what is the main theme or the main topic of the question.
Cooperative
Federalism.
Federalism.
Cooperative federalism.
Okay. Now third thing that we have to identify is the scope. So what will come under the scope? Now think like what they have asked with respect to cooperative federalism. Challenges, and you will tell general challenges, or you will tell in some specific time frame period.
Post 2014.
Challenges post India 2014.
post 24 14.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so we have to write the challenges to cooperative federalism, and that too we have to write this with respect to India. So that means we will not give any global examples, and we will restrict our examples, our analysis to the period that is after 2014. Now this is where majority of the students make mistakes. Okay, what you people will do, you will just see, okay, the question is on cooperative federalism, let me write whatever I know about cooperative federalism, right? A general student will give the definition of the cooperative federalism, then they will move on to the main body. They will tell certain constitutional articles that are there with respect to the cooperative federalism, or the steps that have been taken till now by the government for the cooperative federalism, how it is functioning in our country. And in the then in end they will write certain challenges. Okay, and suppose this is a 10 marker question. Okay, now the main demand of the question was challenges, and that examiner will find on the second page. So you yourself tell me, out of 10 marks, how much marks the student should get? Not more than 2 marks, right? Because examiner doesn't have that much time and patience that they will wait for the demand of the question to appear in your answer. On just seeing your answer in the first instance, they should be able to see those headings that pertain to the question, right? And if any example or any illustration will be given before the period of 2014, that also will not be appreciated by the examiner. Okay, so now see, the directive word is examine. So what do you have to do when the question is examine? How will you structure the answer for examine? What things we have to write in the answer?
Ma'am, we have to basically check how it affected India, how it affected the cooperative federalism rules in the
No, just tell me the
2024.
directive word. If directive word is examine, so what did sir told you? Like what you have to write in the answer for examine?
To inquire, to
Ma'am, we
look
have
into
to
the
look
challenges,
closely, like we
One
have
by
to
one.
write causes.
One by one. Jaya, you tell me first.
to look into the challenges, ma'am, challenges of cooperative federalism, to
Okay. So like how will
inquire.
you, yeah, how will
Yes,
you
ma'am.
formulate the point? You will just write them one by one, or you will try to, what we can say, that like you will try to substantiate it with some example, because the question is examined. You will do certain kind of analysis, now whatever point you are giving for
Yes, ma'am.
examine,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Premika, you want to add on anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Now tell me, so how will you start writing answer to this question? What will be the introduction?
Ma'am, it will be somewhat regarding to what, how like in 2014, what regime change was there regarding cooperative federalism. So like since 2014, what actually took place with a little background to why it was actually brought into the picture.
Okay. What else can we write?
And we can add the term quasi-federal, defining the positive, strong center in
Ma'am,
the
we
Indian
can
polity.
Ma'am, we can add that India is run on cooperative federalism or has been run on cooperative federalism. Or we can add that Indian constitution, although federalism is not there, but has given an impression of cooperative federalism. We can write in India's constitutional values according to it.
Ma'am, adding to what she told, We can also quote that Granville Austin described our constitution as cooperative federalism. It reflects the principle of cooperative federalism. Then we can start writing articles.
Okay. First of all, tell me, let's suppose there are two scenarios. In one first scenario, the question is of 10 marks. Okay. And in the second scenario, the question is of 15 marks. Now I'm giving you time of 1 to 1.5 minutes. Everyone think, grab a pen and paper and just structure out your answer for both the scenarios. Done? Everyone has done it for 10 marker. Who will tell me what they have dissected for 10 marker? Yes, Gaurav.
I'm intro, challenges, way forward, then balanced conclusion.
And what about 15 marker?
In there, we will put a between the line by demonstrating the features of uh, federal nature of Indian polity in a flowchart like diagram. अभी नहीं आ रहा है.
Okay. Yes, Akshita.
Ma'am, I have also written the same kind of introduction. And if it is a 250 worded question, we can add a pre 2014 scenario, a bit only that we can give evidences of cooperative federalism maybe in 1-2 line, and then we can add the challenges that could occur in 2000 after that have occurred after 2014. So we will directly come to challenges, and in challenges I could only think of two things right now. One was about the change of Manrega to VBG Ramji, and how it has alterated the fiscal federalism from 60-40 ratio to 90-10 ratio. We can add that instance. And one is when I thought of governor's intervention, as we have seen in Tamil Nadu. Only 2 points I could think of, and then after all the points, we could add a way forward, and we can also add instance like, though we have seen federalism get stronger in these scenarios, but there are challenges that could be a threat to cooperation in federalism. We could add that in a way forward, and then we can say how we can do things to strengthen it. So that's all I have structured.
Okay. Yes, Shubham.
Ma'am, I agree to what Sakshita said, and we can also, for 10 marks question, we can simply define that what cooperative federalism to India means, and also the key challenges. We can briefly define them, and ma'am, we can also conclude that how it's a challenge to post India 2014 in 2-3 lines. And for 15 marks question, ma'am, we can define cooperative federalism and how it's affecting India, and we can define the challenges more. Like we can also add the points related to COVID-19 impact, how state and center worked during that period, and we can conclude that also with the help of more examples. And ma'am, I've not studied about it yet more, but we can add more examples, and with the help of flowchart, we can also show the pictorial representation of this.
Okay. Yes, Dhananjay.
So, ma'am, actually, I made some points for intro of 10 marker in which I like first we can give a brief about like what cooperative federalism is and starting like telling the relation between the union and the state which jointly works together. Then basically establishment of institutions like the regime change which I was talking about like GST and Niti Aayog which was set it up. So that was a good example which we can put in cooperative federalism, and then we talk about the major challenges for the 10 marker in which like as someone said about the fiscal tensions and the role of governors ahead and the center state relations where we can show like how centers still have an autonomy. This were like the few things. Then if I talk about after completing, like these are the only challenges as of now which I have thought, and then after the challenges we can tell us about like the way forward and the conclusion part. Similarly, in the 15 marker, like the number of challenges can increase with we can give examples for both like these things.
Okay. Yes, Akshita.
Ma'am, we can also add one more point about the population census that is going on, and the population representation issue that has been there. So we can add that point also in challenges.
Okay. Yes, Jaya.
Ma'am, we can talk about the devolution of finances between center and states. And another thing is we can talk about the seventh schedule. There are certain lists which are written in center and also in state. Some of the matters, let's say for example, agriculture. There is, we can quote the example of farmers' protest. In that the marketing and produce is under center and then agriculture is in the state list. These are the challenges that arise between center and state.
Okay. Anyone else want to add anything?
Ma'am, I have a doubt. Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, how is way forward relevant to this question since the challenges have been asked? So I don't
How
understand
will you
how.
conclude in any question in which challenges are asked? How will you conclude? You will just say that okay, these are the problems. You will give certain way forward. Na? In conclusion, you will give certain way forward. If these challenges are there, then we can take these and these steps, or you can write the recommendation of any committee, like this and this committee has recommended all these things. If we implement them with the involvement of all the stakeholders, right, then we can overcome the above challenges. That is your work as a civil servant to overcome the challenges that are existing in our polity, in our society, in our economy. Right. That is the conclusion part, not the entire, like, not the main body. Okay.
Ma'am, as someone also gave an example of, I think, COVID. So, like, when we are doing a balance assessment, so we can, like, after writing challenges, we can tell that, give an example of how during COVID, center and state came
They
together
came
to
together.
fight that challenge.
Yes, yes, definitely you can do that. Now, see, what I observed was that in 10 marker, all of you tried to, like, all of you were there with the demand of the question. Okay, nobody was digressing. But as soon as the marks got increased to 15 marker, as Sakshita you told us, we can start with some pre 2015 era. Why pre 2015?
Ma'am,
No
because
need.
it is asking the challenges of 2000 after post 2014. So we can just give a brief comparisons that
Don't
the
give na.
challenges
That
that
is
have
not
come post.
that is the main problem that we commit.
Okay.
Since we have more space to write, we have more marks, we start digressing from the demand of the question. That is the main mistake, and then students complain that they are not able to complete the paper because you start writing extra things that is not even asked in the question.
Okay.
Stuck Remain stuck to the demand of the question. The demand is challenges of cooperative federalism post 2014 in India.
Right.
Right. So
Hmm.
what introduction can be either any instance, if you can quote any example, if you can quote of post 2014 era, or you can simply start with what is cooperative federalism and at max make a flowchart of the constitutional articles or the measures that are there that is ensuring cooperative federalism in India.
Okay.
Then you people will start directly writing challenges.
Okay.
Okay, in 10 marker we can exclude that making flowcharts or writing what mechanisms exist for the cooperative federalism. You can directly jump to the challenges, write 6 7 challenges, whatever comes to your mind, and in 10 marker you will not make your points too much explanatory because you don't have time and space for that, right? And then all of you will end in conclusion there can be way forward. You can give any recommendation of any committee, second ARC, Punchi Commission, Sarkaria Commission, Finance Commission, National Committee to review the working of the constitution, right? And in 15 marker, now after writing the challenges, then when you are going to write way forward or anything, then you can quote 1 or 3 instances where cooperative federalism has worked beautifully post 2014, just to show that if these instances are further strengthened, or these instances can act as a role model or case study for center and state to adopt to resolve all other issues that are there. Okay, that is the maximum addition that we can do. So what will differentiate your 10 marker and 15 marker? Only the number and the quality of points. It You should not start writing other dimensions that are not asked. Because of that thing only we are not able to complete our paper on time, because we start digressing from the main demand of the question. Okay, so whenever you will study the question, first of all you will mark the directive word, encircle the directive word which is cooperative, which is examined in this case. Then just highlight the main topic which is your challenges to cooperative federalism. Then encircle your scope. The scope is India post 2014. Don't write anything about pre 2014 era. That is how only you will be able to maintain, uh, like maintain consistency with the demand of the question. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So um, Seema, read the slide.
Respect the constraints,
Just
aligning your
Yeah, yeah.
aligning your response strategy with mark allocations.
Hmm.
Number one, understand question weight. Recognize that mark allocations act as direct indicators of the required depth and scope.
Okay, stop. Everyone understood this point? The question weight, the marks of the question is only determining the depth and the scope of the points. Like you can cover how many dimensions. In 10 marker, try to cover 4 to 5 dimensions. In 15 marker, try to cover 7 to 8 dimension. Okay, and in 15 marker, you can substantiate each and every point with an example, with some data, with some case study, right? And in 10 marker, you can do it for 1 or 2 points, not more than that. So the question weight should not start adding extra subparts that are not asked. Okay. Read second point now.
10 marker expectations. Focus on foundational clarity, core concepts, and concise analytical points.
And read third point, 15 marker.
15 marker requirements. Expand your response to include critical evaluation, synthesis, and broader application.
Okay. Then align structure to value. Adjust your output to ensure you are not over explaining low value items or under delivering on high value ones. That means this will be dealt in further classes, like how you have to align your points in terms of priority, right? The main issues should be discussed first and then the subsidiary issues. It should not be that we are writing some, like the question. Now this question will require you to examine the political and the economical challenges first, right? You cannot start directly with any environmental challenge. Okay. Strategic execution. Utilize marks allocation as a blueprint to effectively manage your time and word count. Okay. So the slow read method, a structured approach to deep reading and comprehension. First, we have to understand the gist of the question, focus on the overall message and the purpose of the text. So in the first reading, read the question. Then in second reading, what you will do is that you will circle the directive word and you will underline the content. Okay, so you will circle your examine, you will underline challenges to cooperative federalism. And in the third reading, you will box the scope and you will verify that whatever you have read is correct. Clearly mark the boundaries of the task and perform a final check on your annotations. So in India post 2014, and then just read it very quickly. Okay, examine the challenges to cooperative federalism in India post 2014, and then start structuring answer in your mind. Jay, read the slide.
5 common mistakes. Identifying frequent errors in prompt interpretation. Skipped directive. Failing to execute specific instructions or mandatory steps.
So the first mistake that we can do is that we skip what is the directive word. Maybe it was critically examine, but we have just read examine, or while writing or while thinking, we have just thought about it as discuss or anything else, and we don't give both the point of views. Okay, so the one mistake can be of skipping the directive word. Second, read.
Ignored the limiter. Disregarding constraints, formatting boundaries, or negative parameters.
So that means whatever is the limit of your answer. If it is only about post 2014, so limit your answer to that. Identify those limiters to your answer. They are asking challenges to only cooperative federalism. They are not asking challenges to competitive federalism. So don't include competitive federalism. Okay. Third.
Missed the second part. Neglecting multi-part requests by focusing exclusively on the initial prompt.
This also happens. Suppose a question has 2 or 3 subparts. we generally, maybe we know any one subpart more and we do not have much knowledge on the other two subparts. So our general tendency is to overwrite in the first subpart, for which we have a lot of information. We try to put in everything that we know about that first subpart itself, and we ignore the other two subparts. So that is also a blunder, because see, the marks are distributed. Suppose in a 15 marker they have asked about three subparts, so examiner will give you 5 marks each for attempting those 3 subparts, sorry, 3 5 marker subparts. Okay, suppose you have written one subpart for 2 pages and the last in half of pages. How can you, even for writing 2 pages, you will be evaluated from 5 only. So there is no point over explaining any one subpart. You have to give equal attention, equal justice to all the subparts. Even if you do not know points, try to make points. Okay, that you will eventually learn how to uh, tackle a bouncer question. Okay, next.
Keyword chasing. Prioritizing buzzwords or surface level information over deep intent driven analysis.
So what we do is that we just mention the keyword and move forward. We do not explain the points. We do not substantiate the points with examples, with some data, with some case study. Don't write only generic language. Like, don't write, for example, governor generally misuse his power. Illustrate how. Generally in our answers the how part is missing. We just mention what is the problem. Explain how governor is misusing his power by not giving adequate chance for the floor tests, right? Then next.
Wrong scale or context. Delivering content that is misaligned with the required depth, scope, or audience framing.
So that we have already discussed, how you people misalign, you digress from what is asked. Okay, so we have done this part. For the given question we have analyzed the directive word, the content, and the scope. Okay, so let's practice 2 more questions. Anybody want to discuss any question, or shall I give it on my own? Okay, let me give a question. The question is, discuss the impact of digital technology on India's electoral process. And it's a 15 marker question. Take 30 seconds, write the directive word, write the scope, second write the content, and third write the scope. Ashutosh, wait for 15-20 seconds. Okay. So one who hasn't spoken anything till now. Anas, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Tell me. What is the directive
Ma'am,
word?
discuss.
Okay.
So here we will have to basically discuss the positives, negatives, also the current scenarios which is going on in India in the electoral process and that impact. Impact covers all the things, ma'am, like positives also.
Just
Then
okay. Tell me, directive word was discussed.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
now tell me what was the main content.
impact of digital technology on electoral process
So we can say that the main topic is our digital technology.
on electoral process.
Okay, now we will define the scope. Now we don't have to write in generic about digital technology. We have to discuss specifically the impact of digital technology on what only the electoral process. So we will not digress from towards any other topic. We will not start writing the general pros and cons of digital technology.
Yeah.
Every point will cater only to how is it helping or it is not helping the electoral process.
Okay.
Right, so the scope will be electoral process. Don't start writing anything that you know about digital technology, like don't start writing the positives of e-governance or negative of e-governance.
Hmm. Okay, ma'am.
Understood
Uh,
how we are
yes,
limiting
yes.
the scope? Since it is discussed, so we can write and we have to discuss the impact, so it will include both the positive impact also the negative impacts,
Hmm.
right? And if we are writing anything negative, we can in the end always provide a way forward,
Way
or we
forward.
can give a balanced conclusion that like how a digital technology or any technology for that matter is a double-edged sword, which if used correctly can bring a lot of positive changes, but if misused, then it can obviously it can negatively impact. So we just have to, for any technology, we have to limit the negative usage, right?
Ma'am, also we can add the global examples like that strategy and in our way
You
forward.
can just give one case study to say that how India can adopt the good practice, but you will not do too much analysis because it is about India's electoral process. As a way forward, we can give a good one case study from where India can learn something to improve
Hmm.
upon the negative impacts, right?
Okay.
Shubham, yes, tell me what is not clear.
Ma'am, scope
Scope.
for a question, what does it exactly mean? I'm confusing.
What is electoral process? Elections, how the elections are conducted. So how digital technology is impacting that electoral process in India. Any technology will be having certain positive impacts also, it will be having certain negative impacts. You can tell how we have progressed from the era of ballot paper to EVMs. That is because of the digital technology. Okay, and then with EVM now we are also facing the problems of manufactured EVMs, like, right, spread of misinformation during the electoral process, fake news, using social media as the only campaigning ground, doing the things only for the social media, not hitting the ground reality, right? Let's do one more question.
मैम इसी वाले क्वेश्चन में सभी आपसे उठा रहे थे कि आपने बोला था कि we can give a case study of some other country.
Only for way forward to illustrate कि how we can overcome certain negative challenges.
अच्छा, मतलब मेरे बस दिमाग में था कि अगर हमारा स्कोप इज लिमिटेड टू इंडियाज इलेक्टोरल प्रोसेस तो भी हम दे सकते हैं.
तो वही तभी तो मैं बोल रही हूँ कि आपको वो एंड में दोगे अगर देना भी है, पूरी बॉडी लिखने के बाद कि देखो अगर किसी कंट्री ने कुछ ऐसे अच्छा काम करा है कि इस नेगेटिव चीज़ों को उन्होंने ओवरकम करा है कुछ अच्छी प्रैक्टिस को अडॉप्ट करके, सो दैट कैन बी अ रोल मॉडल फॉर इंडिया। सिर्फ वो एक कंक्लूजन या वे फॉरवर्ड फॉर्म में जाएगा। बीच में हम जब हम पूरी बॉडी में एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं नेगेटिव और पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट, तब हम कोई दूसरी केसेस कंट्रीज़ की एग्जांपल नहीं देने लग जाएंगे कि देखो वहाँ पर टेक्नोलॉजी ने कैसे हेल्प करा है, मतलब दैट कैन नॉट बी द पार्ट ऑफ मेन बॉडी।
ठीक है, तो मैम जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम लोग चैलेंजेस में कवर कर रहे हैं डीप फेक्स, एआई ऑडियोज, माइक्रो टारगेटिंग, ठीक है, तो इसका इनका डेटा प्राइवेसी आल्सो, तो अगर मतलब बाहरी कंट्रीज में एग्जांपल तो बस एक आता है कि दे हैव बेटर डेटा प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट्स देन इंडिया, तो मतलब बस एक उसका एग्जांपल देना होगा।
मैं कह रही हूँ अगर तुम्हें कुछ है तुम्हारे पास लिखने को, ज़रूरी नहीं है उसका एग्जाम्पल देना ही देना है, अगर कुछ है तो। Evaluate the effectiveness of India's disaster management framework in the last decade, 10 marker question. Madhu, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Tell me what is the directive word?
It's evaluate.
Okay, so under evaluate, what you have to cover?
We have to just evaluate in the last decade what is the India's disaster management framework, how it has worked, how effectively it has worked.
Okay. So what is the main topic? The main topic is India's disaster management framework.
It's a disaster management framework.
Okay. And what is the scope?
Its effectiveness in the last decade.
So we will evaluate the disaster management framework of India in last decade. So we will not go beyond like pre 2016. Whatever you think have been the performance of our disaster management framework in the last 10 years, you will take only those examples, only those points. Don't start writing about 2004 or 2002 earthquake, 2004 tsunami. Okay, no need to write all those redundant examples if specifically it is last decade. Any doubt to anyone? Yes, Dhananjay.
Ma'am, as you said, in last decade of 2016. So first of all, if we are giving an example, let's say for example, in Odisha there are like multiple cyclones which takes place. Okay. So I think the last somewhere in 2019 or 20, and cyclone took place. So can we compare that with the one which took a decade ago? Matlab, let's say if there was a disaster also in Odisha for cyclone, which were which was before 2010 as well. Can we go there like just for a comparative analysis? कि like
But
अगर
why will
अब
you
ऐसा
do a
होता
but why will you do a comparative analysis in the question where you have to evaluate?
no, like, what I want to say is
Hmm.
we are going to put the main theme is like for the last decade. So we are going to give examples of how the effectiveness has increased or something,
Hmm.
and what are the challenges
You
faced.
will,
Let's say
you
people.
will first you will tell about how it has strengthened in the last decade, right? And then you will tell, despite these measures, there have been certain challenges that we have seen in the last decades. Okay, so where is the scope for do the comparative analysis? Right? Understood? Any doubt to anyone? Yes, Jaya.
Ma'am, in this question, evaluate means we have to unpack what all the effectiveness of disaster management, right? So in that case, what conclusion we have to write? We cannot judge whether it's worth or not in this case,
But
whether
you
the
will,
measures are
you will,
worth or not.
yeah.
We'll just tell the measures and write examples. This is how effectively India's disaster management has been so far. So how in this where is scope for writing negative like negative thing
It
to
is
that has
evaluate the effectiveness. So you are evaluating the effectiveness. When you are doing the evaluation of something, you point out both the strengths and the weaknesses, no? So initially, if you are pointing out the strength of our disaster management framework, you will also point out certain weaknesses. Like despite these strengths, we have certain, still there are certain weaknesses that we need to overcome. Right? Yes, Akshita.
Ma'am, I am a bit confused about the points we should include, because in this question, should we include instances as points, or should we just go like we have, um, forecasting systems and all, or we can
Yes,
add them?
no. You will first tell how it is strengthened. So you will first tell the measure that has been taken under the disaster management framework.
Okay, okay.
For
Um,
example, right, like forecasting system and all. And then you
yes.
can, if you have certain example for any point, then you can substantiate with the example of what has happened in the last 10 years itself.
So, for example, let's take Assam flood thing has happened, and it has displaced many people in that area. So they had to go to higher areas so that they could evade flood. So can we, can we add that as point or just as an example? I'm asking, can we use these instances as a challenge
But what
point?
is the weakness now? Then tell, like not giving proper warnings, not giving proper early
Yes, yes.
warnings.
That's what
Example,
I was asking. We have to give background and then give them as
Yes,
examples,
yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
Ma'am, just few facts that I just searched, and regarding I just wanted to justify my previous question what I asked. Like for example, I was giving an example of Odisha, right? So in 2019, Odisha there was cyclone family. Okay, so number of people were saved and evacuated just because there were timely preparedness and evacuation process which was there. Okay. So like just while writing the point of effectiveness and preparedness, like
Okay, I understood your point.
so I can say like in super cyclone
Yes,
in
yes, yes.
1999. So
Like,
then we can
yeah,
say like
yes,
then
you can say
casualties
that
have
as,
dropped and
yeah,
everything.
as compared to previous years, like you can say that in 2019 there were much less death toll in comparison to the cyclones that have taken place before that because of this measure. Yes, you, in that sense you can write.
Yes, that's what I was.
Yes, yes.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so anyone else want to ask anything, because that is it for this session. We just had to discuss about how to basically in your 5 steps that you did in session 3 and session 4. So the second step was to understand the demand of the question. So this is how the demand of the question is understood by knowing the directive word, by knowing the content, and by knowing the scope. So you have to identify these three things, and if you identify these three things, then that means you have understood the demand of the question, and you will never waver anywhere here and there. You will never ever digress from the main demand of the question. Okay. Yes, Sakshita.
Ma'am, can we add instances from COVID here? Because that was also a pandemic. Can
Yeah,
we
yeah.
call it as a biological disaster?
Yes, yes, yes.
So we can say that our pharmaceuticals have strengthened in the last decade in combating biological disasters such as COVID. Can we add that?
No,
Okay.
that will come under your science and technology, like the technological uh, innovations that we have done, like bringing out the vaccines for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Just one thing more. If
Hmm.
like in effectiveness, if we are saying that the technological advancements have taken place, and that's why like the IMD is able to notify and make people aware about the things. But again, the challenges, can we say that like the technology is still not up to the mark?
Yes, we can
Okay,
definitely.
okay, okay.
So today you have no homework. Okay, just complete. If anybody is left with any task of any previous 4 sessions, complete that thing. If you haven't made notes for the 3 topics that were given by the sir in last session, complete that. If any question you have not written, complete that. If you have missed out any session, just go and watch the videos from your portal. Links are there. Okay.
हम ये तो क्वेश्चन आपने करवाए ये नहीं करने.
कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म वाला करना है. You all have to attempt that cooperative federalism question, because ultimately you have prepared a note on it, right?
मैम कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म का क्वेश्चन एग्जैक्टली क्या था, एक बार आप रिपीट कर दोगे?
Examine the challenges
हाँ.
to cooperative federalism in India post 2014.
Okay.
Examine the challenges to cooperative federalism in India post 2014, and attempt it as a 10 marker only. Now, if anyone of you want to ask anything, they can stay and others can leave.